there, Virgo. Welcome to your October 2025 General Tarot reading. It's Raina here. I was thinking about sometimes when I used to watch tarot readings, there would be like the person would be putting down the cards, and it would be like almost like it was in slow motion. And I felt like when I was putting down the cards, it felt like that, like it was in slow motion or something. I don't know. Yeah, like I'm doing it and it's happening. I don't know if I have some kind of weird setting on, but anyway, it just reminded me of that. I don't know what that was. Okay. So the the energy around this reading, which isn't, you know, it's kind of like, we've had these eclipses, and because you were totally involved, it was in your sign, and the one before that was in Pisces, which opposes you. So that is also going to be very important, especially for relationships, because it was in your seventh house. So some of these cards kind of reflect that, and I'm wondering if that's what I'm getting, because the heart of the matter is the Five of Swords, and I also have the Three of Swords, as well as the Seven of Cups, and even the Queen of Swords. So the Five of Swords is a card of a person, one of my books calls it empty victory, where, she's holding, there's one, I actually think this is a better illustration by having her hold four swords and having one on the ground. In other words, haha, I got what you wanted, but at what cost? So whether it's another person, which it could be, because the Three of Swords can be like a three-party situation. It's like you fall in love with someone who's already taken, and they decide to go with you. You can feel really good about it because it's like, I was chosen, but at what is the cost? The cost is that the other person is suffering, and also the cost is that it can be a situation where you might, if you didn't know that person was taken, or even if you did know that they were involved with someone else, that just shows you that they're capable of cheating. So it's like, who really won in that situation? But the other scenario, which can be quite common, is being in an environment where there are people who are kind of backstabbers, who are, gossiping, slandering. Even if they're telling the truth about you, they're gossiping, and they might smile to your face. So I typically think of coworkers, but it can be family members. It can be your girlfriends or your guy friends, who are really behind your back saying stuff. Now, the reason that this is becoming a thing is the Three of Wands can indicate expansion. And the sun is in the background, and the sun is like our highest aspirations. And so this is a card of that. And maybe also because we did have a solar eclipse in Virgo just the other day, that may also be what it symbolizes. And so it's all about what it is that you want to accomplish in life. And maybe now all of these other things are showing you that it's not worth it. Those things are dragging you down. What crosses you is the Seven of Cups. This can be deluded thinking, muddled thinking, wishful thinking, maybe being indecisive, having a lot of choices. And so I would say unfocused thinking. Might be a big one. I don't know. That doesn't sound typical for Virgo people, but I suppose anyone can get into that frame of mind. And what that can mean is that maybe you are torn. If you are in a relationship with someone and you feel like you can't really trust them, but you still want to be with them, that can make you have a hard time deciding whether you should stay or go from that relationship. Or if you feel like your work life is kind of like stagnant, as if you don't have the ability to um, expand, grow with a company or something like that, then that can feel like you want to kind of experience that growth, but maybe you don't know how to get there. So that's another example. Or you're getting offers, other work offers, but you don't know which one to take. The higher message, a spiritual message, is the Three of Swords. This is a card of rejection as well as third-party situations. Also a clean break. So if you are on again, off again with someone, that could be a very toxic relationship, and it can be very draining to be in that situation. Maybe that person keeps promising that they'll change. Maybe they change superficially, but they're really not committed to permanent change. They're just trying to please you. They're just trying to get you to shut up. It's also like if you have been cheated on, that this is a card, the Five of Swords. Maybe you have been cheated on and you find out about it. You can start to blame yourself, especially a Virgo person, which does, typically a Virgo person doesn't have a lot of confidence to begin with. And I'm saying this as somebody with the moon in Virgo, so I'm not dissing Virgos, but I'm just saying that Virgo people are critical, but they're like very self-critical. And so you may blame yourself or think there's something wrong with you. And that is a stumbling block too. And that keeps you from doing what you need to be doing. What's coming in is the Queen of Swords. I've been getting this card a lot for this series of readings, and it seems to me that people are needing to make decisions that are not based on their emotions at the time. So maybe the emotions are really getting stirred up this month. I'm talking about September when I'm recording this, but this is obviously for October, but I mean, obviously it's going to still be in play even though the month is ending, because a lot of these events are unfolding. And we have to be able to, it's interesting that they have butterflies in the background, because butterflies symbolize transformation. And being able to transform means that we cannot stay rooted in our emotions all the time. It's almost like being coddled, because I'm not saying that we shouldn't respect our emotions, because they can be a guidance system for us to make our decisions in life. But I'm talking about more of the shadow side. To me, the Five of Swords brings up those kinds of behaviors that are not what we should be emulating. And if we find ourselves in situations where we're exposed to that, then we have to have the emotional wherewithal to be able to protect ourselves. And sometimes that means that we have to leave a situation that is toxic. And emotionally, that can feel a little bit uncomfortable. And if we are too indulgent of our emotions, we may, and that's like I said, the shadow side, the fear, the rage, those kinds of emotions. If we indulge those emotions, then we're controlled by them. And then we can't make really good decisions. The outcome is the Knight of Cups. This is an offer of love. And I'm thinking that it's possible that some of you are in professions that are like teaching or some kind of communication, like a journalist or something along those lines, where you are disseminating information. And perhaps this is, representative of that, but maybe you want to get away from that and you want to be more creative. But this is the thing. It's like sometimes it's very confusing when you want something creative because it's not the thing that is promoted in society. We live in a very left brain society that's supposed to be very rational. And Knight of Cups can be getting an offer that has something to do with healing or creativity. Maybe you are even going to work with someone, but it can also be with love, somebody who's a water sign. I don't know what particular water sign this is connected to. I don't know if it's Pisces or Cancer or Scorpio, but this might be somebody who is more sensitive to you. Maybe you're dealing with someone who is insensitive, and that's also part of the problem, is that that person doesn't respect you as a feeling person. So you have to kind of, suck it up, buttercup, for lack of a better phrase, to be able to make that transition into a more ideal situation. There might be somebody waiting in the wings. There might be somebody who, really cares about you. And maybe you didn't even notice because you were so absorbed in a toxic relationship. Who knows? Anyway, that's what I have for you, Virgo. I hope that this resonated. If you would like a private reading, I do astrology and the tarot. You can find out more information at the link below. Thanks for watching. Bye.